My husband is against vaccinating our baby, and no amount of logical explanation would change his mind, so I'm planning to do it behind his back, and now I'm wondering if I'm being a jerk. My husband, 32 male, and I, 32 female, had a first baby, 6 months. Prior to the birth of our baby, I had always been vocal about vaccinating and trusting the advice of doctors, medical professionals, and scientists. My husband, on the other hand, is a skeptic. However, he seemed on board with vaccinating. So when our baby was born, he received the recommended vaccination at birth, 2 months, and 4 months. Now at 6 months, my husband has gone down a spiral on how he does not want our child to continue any other vaccinations. This is despite the recent outbreaks of measles that have been recently reported. It is important to note that my husband has an autistic sibling, who was nonverbal for years and struggled a lot as a child. My mother-in-law has made comments on vaccinations, which have led my husband down a rabbit hole of research, and now he is uncomfortable vaccinating. Keeping an open mind and trying to be understanding of his concerns, I have heard him out and even read some of the articles he has found. Much of which is not supported by independent research and more so testimonials of parents who had a bad experience with vaccines. He argues that pharma and CDC go out of their way to remove any information and discredit doctors who speak against vaccines. That the fact that you cannot sue vaccine manufacturers for vaccine-related injuries should be enough to convince me against them. I rebut his arguments by stating that misinformation is dangerous and that vaccines are one of the most studied and regulated medical tools in existence. They are backed by decades of global research, real-world data, and the consensus of every major medical organization, including the CDC, WHO, OP, and countless pediatricians who vaccinate their own children. But this is still not enough for him, and he is convinced that the best thing is not to vaccinate. I have spoken with our child's pediatrician, who has offered to have a one-on-one with him and was very understanding of his concerns, but he was not satisfied with the information she provided and said it was all just a regurgitation of what doctors are told to say. We have been at this back and forth for weeks, and I am reaching the point where I am seriously considering vaccinating our child without him knowing. He is a very involved parent, and I do not want to make any important decisions without him, especially not medical decisions, but I feel like I am not getting anywhere with him. He has already said that if we have a second child, we will not be doing any vaccinations. To which I have responded that if that is the case, I guess our baby is going to be an only child. Would I be the butthole if I choose to vaccinate despite his feelings?